Today we're taking a look at the latest iteration of the iconic Mad Professor Sweet Honey Overdrive pedal. Now the Sweet Honey originally came out in 2009, so it's been out for almost 20 years now, crazy to think, and it's become something of a legend in the worlds of low to medium gain overdrive sounds, and in that buzzword term of transparent overdrives too. Now when the pedal originally came out, Mad Professor said, and they still say to this day, that this is going to be the perfect pedal to push your already slightly cooking amplifier into even sweeter distorted tones, or to give some hair and some beautiful lower gain drive tones to a clean amplifier. And in this video we're going to put that to the test. I'm going to play the Sweet Honey for you in as many different musical styles as I can manage, as usual, with two different guitars, the Yamaha Pacifica SC for some single coil tones, and the Stanford Fleetwood for some humbucking PAF style Les Paul style tones. And well, by the end of this video hopefully you'll know if you need to try out the Sweet Honey for yourself. Now, timestamps to each different part of the video are going to be down there if you need to go somewhere else first. But let's kick things off with the specs, the features, all the info you need to know about the Sweet Honey Overdrive pedal. Now, like I said, this pedal originally came out in 2009. We're now in 2026 when I'm filming this, and the Sweet Honey comes in 3 iterations. This is the standard factory-made version. There's also a custom version which has their Fat B mod to give it a bit more low end, and you can buy a made in Finland hand-wired version too for a bit more money, and a couple of other mod cons like top-mounted jacks and so on. But the standard version will set you back about €189 or $200 there or thereabouts. It's a very simple affair indeed. We've just got the 3 knobs on it. We've got a volume, a drive and a focus control. Volume and drive, of course, incredibly self-explanatory. Volume for how loud you want it, drive for how much gain you'd like to have on tap, and the focus knob is something of an expanded EQ control. It does do the EQ thing in that the more you turn it up, the more of a slight treble boost you're going to have. The more you turn it down, the more of a mellow tonal effect you're going to have. But it also affects when the distortion, when the overdrive comes into your signal. So the more you turn it up, the earlier, the easier, the quicker this pedal is going to start driving your amp. And we're going to test all of the settings that we can get out of this pedal in the playing part coming up in a second. Otherwise, it's a standard Mad Professor pedal, so it's built like an absolute tank, feels like absolutely fantastic quality, looks great as well. I love the honey-esque shade that they've gone for with this pedal. Side-mounted jacks, as I've already mentioned, and you can power this pedal via a standard 9-volt battery or via a standard 9-volt power supply. Now, earlier in 2026, I tried out the Royal Blue Overdrive by Mad Professor, and this is an absolutely wonderful version of a low to medium gain drive, a bit like a Timmy on steroids or something like that. So this is a fantastic pedal. Video of that elsewhere on my channel if you'd like to see it. The Sweet Honey is the icon, a slightly lower gain version perhaps of the Royal Blue with a slightly different voice, but we're going to hear it now and you can make up your own mind. Now, my rig for today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 amplifier. We'll be on a pretty neutral clean tone for most of the demo, but we will go into the crunch channel to hear how the Sweet Honey works going into an already cooking amplifier. And like I've already mentioned, I'll be using 2 guitars today, the Yamaha Pacifica SC, which is a Fender Telecaster style, and the Stanford Guitars Fleetwood B7 Bigsby model, which is a traditional Les Paul sort of style guitar for those humbucking tones. Enough talk though, let's try the Sweet Honey now, and we'll speak in a bit more detail about it afterwards. Okay then, so that was the Mad Professor Sweet Honey Overdrive pedal, and I hope you enjoyed the playing, the riffs and the tones. And you know what to do now? Leave me your thoughts down there, telling me what you think of the Sweet Honey. Did you like those lower gain drive tones? Did you like the push cleans that we got out of this pedal? And did you like it going into the already overdriven amplifier? As always, love to hear your thoughts. Let's get a bit of a discussion going, as we always do. But now it's time for me to tell you my thoughts and opinions about the Sweet Honey. I had very high hopes for it because I love pedals like this. I love my lower gain drives. I love my Greer Lightspeed. I love my Paul Cochran Timmy. I love my Analog Man King of Tone. And I love my JHS Morning Glory. I love my Nobles ODR1. And I love the Mad Professor Royal Blue Overdrive as well. And of course I had high hopes for the Sweet Honey. And as soon as I plugged it in, everything at 12 o'clock, well, we got some pretty spanky drives out of this with the Pacifica SC and with the Stanford as well. I was quite surprised at how much at 12 o'clock it was already breaking up pretty nicely. A really nice beefy sound, but nice and cutting, and at the same time sort of transparent as well. It retained the character of the Pacifica and the character of the Les Paul-esque Stanford all the way throughout the entire video. Now for me personally, what I did straight away was move the focus switch down to about 11 o'clock, which is what Mad Professor recommend to start with, and that gave us a beautiful, sweet, slightly mellower tone, which was just perfect no matter where I had the volume control and no matter where I had the drive control. We started things off with some push clean sorts of sounds, and you can get a really great clean boost with the single coil bridge pickup of the Pacifica, but I noticed with the humbuckers of the Stanford that it wanted to go straight away, so this was not perfect for a clean boost with a Les Paul style humbucker, but it works very well for a lower gain sort of drive tone. When we started doing Indian alternative rock, my personal favourite sorts of styles, well, those tones are aplenty in this pedal and they sound absolutely fantastic. Edging up the focus control here to give us a bit more top end bite, and I had some fantastic tones for anything that I wanted to do in that regard. Edging the drive control up past 12 o'clock and we got some wonderful thick classic rock tones from both guitars, but by the time I was doing the harder rock stuff and the punk rock stuff, I noticed that especially on the clean channel of the amp with the single coil bridge pickup of the Yamaha Pacifica, there wasn't really enough oomph or gain or saturation on tap. You'd want to switch across to the amp's crunch channel and use the Sweet Honey for a boost in that context. Now with the higher output humbuckers of the Stanford Fleetwood, well, you can do some harder rock stuff on the amp's clean channel, but again, going up into heavier genres, you want to use this as a boost into an already dirty amplifier. And that was exemplified by when I tried to do a bit of chuggy metal. That's not at all what this pedal is suited for. You can kind of get there in a way, but that's not the home ballpark of this pedal in any way, shape or form. Nevertheless, at the kind of sounds that you're supposed to do with the Sweet Honey, it excels. It's a beautiful push clean. It's a lovely lower gain overdrive and medium gain overdrive, and running it as a boost into the crunch channel of my Black Spirit 200, well, it started to sound like a tube amp caving in on itself in a beautiful saggy sort of a way. So that was perfect in that regard, just what I wanted from this pedal. So in terms of tones, you've only got the 3 knobs here, but you can get so much out of the Sweet Honey, and if this is the kind of sound that you're after, it excels in that regard. But apart from the tones, what else do I like about this pedal? Well, straight away, and even when we were running it on higher drive settings, I noticed that the noise coming out of this pedal, and by that I mean the unwanted extraneous noise, is very, very quiet indeed. This is an extremely quiet pedal, and that is a fantastic plus point for it. I also think it looks fantastic, like every other Mad Professor pedal I've tried, and like every other Mad Professor pedal I've tried to date, well, the build quality is second to none. This thing is going to go on a pedal board, no problem. You can stamp on it night after night, and it's not going to give you any problems whatsoever. So full marks in many regards, and there's many things that I love about the Sweet Honey. But what about those things that I don't quite like so much? Well, there is one thing that I would change about this pedal if I could, and that would be to give it top-mounted jacks. Now we've got side-mounted jacks on this, and I know it's not a huge problem, but giving it top-mounted jacks would save you a little bit of real estate on your pedal board. And you do get top-mounted jacks on the hand-wired made in Finland version of this pedal, so I know that Mad Professor know that's a good idea. Hopefully in future we'll see top-mounted jacks on all of their pedals. But apart from that, it's really splitting hairs, and there's nothing that I don't like about this pedal at all. Of course, it's not the cheapest overdrive in the world, nor is it the most flexible, but you're buying this to do a certain job, and in that regard I think it's absolutely 100% worth it. It sounds fantastic, the quality is great, and of course there are other pedals that do similar things cheaper, and there are other pedals that have more controllable EQs, like the Royal Blue for example. But if you want one of those, buy one of those instead, and if you want what the Sweet Honey can deliver tonally, well, this is going to be the ideal pedal for you. However, of course, if you've been watching this and you're wondering what else could be out there, well, this is a low gain overdrive pedal, so there are literally hundreds of options at your disposal. So I would suggest you start by looking at the other Mad Professor options first. Now, there are two other Sweet Honeys that you can currently get. There's the custom version, which has their Fat B mod for a bit more low end, and is about €20 or $20 more expensive than the standard version. Or you could go for the hand-wired boutique made in Finland version that is indeed wired by hand by the Mad Professor team, has higher quality components, top mounted jacks, a different size enclosure and paint job and so on, and is a wonderful pedal to behold. Otherwise, from Mad Professor, I've mentioned it a few times, the Royal Blue is a wonderful option, has a 2-band EQ, 2 EQ knobs, has more gain on tap and a slightly different voice as well. This is a wonderful pedal, highly recommended if you're looking for a bit more EQ control than you get with the Sweet Honey. Now, if you're looking for other brands of low gain transparent overdrives, the world's your oyster really, but I would recommend you check out the blind test that I did a few months ago with 4 of my favourite pedals of this type. That's the Analog Man King of Tone, the JHS Morning Glory, the Greer Lightspeed and the Paul Cochran Timmy. I'll link to that one there, but I should tell you that the Sweet Honey can hang with all of those pedals no problem. It's the same in terms of quality, and it is an absolutely fantastic sounding thing. Now, if you're looking for something in a slightly lower budget ballpark, well, I always like to recommend the Noble's ODR Mini 2. That is a great mini transparent overdrive pedal with a bass cut knob that makes it massively usable as well. So there are myriad options when it comes to this type of pedal, but at the end of the day, I think the Sweet Honey is one that you should definitely have on your shortlist if you're looking for a pedal like this. It looks great, it sounds great, it's great quality, and it is going to do the business no matter what kind of pickups you're going to run into it, no matter what kind of amp you're using on a clean channel or a dirty channel. This would be a fantastic option for any guitar player to add to their collection. Now, I hope that this video has answered all of the questions that you may have had about the Sweet Honey Overdrive, but if there's anything else you'd like to know, drop me a line down there in the comments and I shall do my best to answer you. And if you're still around, it would really make my day if you wanted to give the video a like, or maybe even sub to my channel, because that really does help. But that's been it for today. I've been Rich, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.